All right, let's get started, everyone. Kongo Saga brackets. We're gonna look over the brackets. I will point out some sets that might happen. According to projected brackets. I know upsets always happens, so it's not like we can expect all of these sets to happen at this point in winners. But assuming sets and players, it goes according to the projected bracket, I'll point out some sets I particularly hope to see in specific players. I hope to see a lot from this tournament as well. First one I want to point out that I'm interested in seeing. Not that I really enjoy this character, but it's going to be this match. Ken versus Nairo. Ken, really good results in Japan. Pretty much, he has had so good results since Ultimate came out in Japan. Haven't had the chance to travel to any big tournaments in the US, so this will be his very first showing. And very recently in the US, we had two Sonics performing well as well at DreamHack Atlanta, if I recall correctly. I think it was DreamHack Atlanta. With two Sonic players performing well as well. So Sonic's having a little bit, of a upwards trend at the moment. And then Ken, obviously a fantastic player, really good in Smash 4, and, keeps performing in this game as well. So I think Ken overall will be very interesting to watch. If he wins this set, then he would most likely fight Glutonny or Light, so that will also be very interesting. If we go back, then he would play Wadi for top 32. So it's a lot of sets with potential here for Ken. So I'm very interested to see how he does. I hope they run best of 5 relatively early. Much more fun to both play and watch, if you ask me. So Ken is the number one player I'm the most excited to watch from this tournament. Next person for me that I'm excited to see is Proto. Proto versus Samsora. Proto versus potentially Tweak. Proto, Chuton, they're both from Japan, so not that I dislike Chuton by any means, but it will be cool to see Proto, because he lost both to Samsora and Tweak at EVO. 2-1 against both, if I remember correctly. But he has had solid showings in the US, playing as Goblin for top 32. Goblin, very good Roy player. Beat Tweak twice in a row, if I remember correctly. And Proto, the only Lucina that I actually think is pretty fun to watch. So I'm hoping to see a lot from Proto. He got 5th at EVO, and even though he had a disappointing performance at CEO in terms of placement, I think he got 17th, maybe 13th, but I think it was 17th. But he lost a super close set to MK Leo that went down to last hit pretty much. And then he lost a pretty close set to Nairo, but I'm not sure if it was 2-0 or 2-1. So I mean, the times he has gone to the US, the only players he has lost to is super good players. So he doesn't have any bad losses in the US, from what I remember at least. So Proto versus Samsora / Tweak. And honestly, Goblin as well. This entire path, I'm very excited to see how he can perform. He did have a pretty good or a pretty bad tournament recently in Japan, where he got 250. It was something in the 200s. But honestly, Japan has so many killers and best of 3 for so long as well. So I mean, even super good players can have a performance. Oh, he is 257th. I thought it was going to be 257th, but I was not 100% sure. But I think it was 257th. But I mean, I think a lot of super good players could, get a tournament like that in Japan, since they have so many good players. And it's also Japan isn't like that big, so like a lot of players live like relatively close to each other, and a lot of tournaments they often sell out very quickly the spots. I've heard people basically sit on their phone when registration opens, and it sells out in like a minute. So yeah, people dedicated. But Proto, I'm excited to watch. Another one I'm excited to watch is fellow Inkling main Cosmos. I think this is a pretty interesting bracket. At least leading up to here, I think both Meister and T could be rough for Cosmos. But I'm quite interested in both. His set here against Kuro, great series suit, unless I'm mistaken, that won a stacked tournament in Japan. So I'm excited for both Cosmos and Kuro to see how they perform. In Japan, people look at Suit as one of the best characters in the game. People have a higher view of Suit in Japan than they have in the US. Even though I feel like the trend of like how people look at Suit as a character, it's going upwards. It's going upwards in the US. Despite all the Mars propaganda, people are not falling for it any longer. I'm sorry, Mars. I'm sorry. So yeah, this set should be very interesting. And regardless of who wins here, I'm excited to see the winner here, most likely fighting Leo. And with Leo's results, it's very likely that he's going to make it up here. But even though I want Kuro to perform well as well, and I'm excited to see it, I'm even more excited to see Cosmos versus Leo. I actually think Inkling is a very good pick against Leo. I think Inkling does have a winning matchup against Joker, which is very valuable when the best player in the world plays the character. And I think Inkling does fine against Lucina too. I think it's an even-ish matchup. I could see either character win slightly, but it's close enough where at worst it's 55-45 for whatever character that loses in winning matchup versus Joker. So that's a very interesting one. I actually wonder if we in the future will see one of like the top 5 players pick up Inkling against Leo. I could see it happen. I could see it happen potentially. So I think this bracket, at least up to winners quarters, I would say is good for Cosmos. It's pretty good bracket, at least based on like here and here. Like some people might say like, oh, Leo, that's how can you say that's a good bracket? But I think a lot of the other like S tier players, I think Cosmos probably would have a slightly lower chance against. So, and also potentially, getting the upset against the number 1 player. That's also, good for your PGR. So, yeah. Cosmos versus Kuro / MK Leo. Something I'm interested in to watch for sure. What else? Oh, yeah. I also want to see Glutonny. Glutonny, he has had great performances in Europe. He still, keep winning every tournament here. He took a set of Leo's Joker in Europe recently in a tournament in Austria. I know he hasn't gone to the US as much this season. Feels like he's been focusing more on competing in Europe. But Glutonny is really good, and he has beaten Light in the past. So I'm not sure what their set count is, but I do remember one time Glutonny won and one time he lost. So I would guess it's 1-1. I actually have no idea how Glutonny would perform against Sonic. But yeah, Glutonny, let's go Europe. Let's go. And if he does beat Light, I think, watching him versus Nairo or Ken, if it goes according to bracket, would also be interesting. I'm not sure. Have we seen Glutonny versus Nairo? I can't remember on top of my head. Oh, okay. Naira beats Glutonny at Summit 1. I see. That was in pools, right? Yeah, that must have been in pools, I think. Because, yeah, I remember Glutonny and Light played like a deciding set for who would, stay in winners and who would start in losers. So, okay. Yeah, we haven't seen that one for a long time then. Yeah, that's like 9 months ago, pretty much. Yeah, I would say that's probably the four people I'm the most excited to watch. So I think that's the only ones we're gonna like list. But it's still, a bunch of other players. This tournament is super stacked. Kameme, really good player, obviously. He has won an S tier in Japan. He beat Leo at Evo. So Kameme will be interesting to watch as well. Quicksilver, arguably number 2 in Europe at the moment, behind Glutonny. He's going to this tournament as well. So I think Quicksilver could be interesting to watch too. He actually had a very good setting as Leo in Europe too. So now he's on the way up for sure. He's on the way up for sure. Yeah, it's so many good players. It's like wherever you look, it's super stacked. Yeah, super stacked everywhere. The Bus versus Shooton, Olimar Dittos. Wait, were they projected? Wait, in losers maybe? Oh, okay. They're projected playing for top 8. I mean, that's so far into the tournament, and especially losers. So we'll see. We'll see. Uh, yeah, none of the Olimars has performed as good since the nerfs. Like, don't get me wrong, they're all very good still. I feel like the Bus, he is still obviously really good, but he's using a little bit more Rosa than he used to before the nerfs. And Shuton and Myron has not quite been, up to the standards they were to before the nerfs. Yeah, Shuton back at Frostbite at least. He went Richter against Myron. Oh, Nico versus Kome. Chalk Ditto. Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Rivers could be fun too. I like to watch Crom. I know he plays some Diddy these days as well, but I think Crom is one of the more fun characters to watch. Uh, One of the characters that actually can get edge guarded. And then I think Crom's punish game is quite interesting too. And he's explosive with his ledge trapping as well. So, yeah, Rivers could be fun to watch. Yeah, honestly, it's so stacked everywhere. And with Tweak, you never know what character or characters he's bringing to the table. He might wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I'm going to play this character. So you never know. He's kind of like, I don't even know a good metaphor. It's like, these like magic balls. So like you kind of shake it and then you get an answer. I feel like that could have been Tweak. And it's like shaking, it's like PT. Wario. King K. Roll. It's like nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table. So yeah, Tweak is always interesting as well. Yeah, nah, it's super many good players. I'll see if I can restream the tournament. I did ask for permission. So we'll see if they approve or not. If they do, we're gonna try to watch quite a bit together. I can't promise exactly how much because I don't really know my stream hours during the weekend. But hopefully, at least a little bit together. And yeah, pretty much to wrap it up. Yeah, this is in order stuff I'm the most interested in watching. Mainly watching like Ken, and then yeah, I guess Nairo would be super interesting match. Proto, not been in the US for a long time, so his bracket looking pretty interesting as well. Cosmos, I think, has a great chance to go to winners quarters. I think he has a pretty good chance even against Leo. And then Glutonny, you know, with all the wins and good practice in Europe. Like, honestly, like, grinding tournaments in Europe. And taking a set of Leo recently. So, yeah. Those are the players I'm the most interested in watching. And the sets that could happen if it goes according to projected bracket. But please let me know, everyone, what players are you guys the most interested in watching at Kongo Saga, and what matchups, you know, player to player, do you guys want to see?